Hi everyone. I'm just going to give it a minute because sometimes on the laptop a bunch of things start to, yeah, there we go. It flashes, then it does those messages. So I'm not going to dive in until everything is cleared up. It just puts on so many different things on the screen. So, all right. Hi everyone. We are live today. Happy Saturday. Um, I am here on live today to talk to you guys about a very special topic, something that is really near and dear to my heart, and that has been a special point of study for me and a point of focus for me, personally and professionally, intensely for the past 3 years. And that is self-worth. So we're going to talk about self-worth, and I'm going to share with you guys here in our Facebook group about what I've learned about what definitively gives somebody self-worth and a high sense of self-worth, and that they value themselves and that they have that sort of high value characteristics about them versus low self-worth and having those low value characteristics about oneself. So this is such an interesting topic, and what I'm going to share with you is listen in. I think this is something you're going to want to hear. It's definitely not information or advice or anything that I had growing up or that I even read somewhere. So it was from my own personal journey, my recent personal journey, as well as from working with hundreds of people one-on-one, did I really start to pick up on this. And especially pick up on characteristics and behaviors that showed low value, that someone values himself very little, versus characteristics and behaviors that show that somebody actually values himself, if not significantly, then enough to be building on it. And what I've been dying to find out for the past 3 years is, how do we build self-worth? How do we build self-worth? So I don't know if that's something you've ever thought about, but it's definitely been front and center of what I've been thinking about for the past 3 years, for my clients especially, and for myself personally as well. So what we're going to answer in this live video is, who gets high self-worth? Who gets to have high self-worth? And how definitively can we get high self-worth? What is that based on? What is the foundation? What is literally the solid foundation of high self-worth? And what is not? What is not high self-worth? Where does it not come from? What is not the root of high self-worth? Okay. Yeah. So this may surprise you, some of these things that I have uncovered and discovered and learned, that I'm going to share with you today. So yeah. Okay. Let me start with this. No one is born with high worth or low worth. No one. Not one person is born with low worth or high worth. The world may put on to somebody, let's say born to poverty, as lower worth versus somebody born to the royal family in England as high worth. But that never determines one's inner worth, is what we're looking at. Okay, so no one is born with an inner worth that is either very high or very low. We must build our own worth. In our lives, we are responsible for our self-worth. Your worth is your responsibility. So that's huge, okay? It is not the world that determines your worth, but we take that on sometimes. It is not an abusive parent who determines our worth, but we take it on sometimes. It is not an abusive sibling. It is not an abusive partner, relationship, first boyfriend experience that happened to us. It wasn't, the sexual assault doesn't make us low self-worth. It's not any of these things outside of us that gives you low self-worth or high self-worth. You are responsible, despite all of these things, for your own self-worth. Your worth is your responsibility, okay? And that means that if we've come to a situation where all of a sudden we don't recognize who we are, and we have been through something that makes us feel like we are just worthless, or that we aren't, like, there's no reason to be confident in ourselves, that there's no reason to respect ourselves, that we're acting in ways that don't respect ourselves because of something that's happened to us. Now, life can happen to us, okay? We could make decisions about incorporating someone into our life we didn't know. Let's say you were in a narcissist with a narcissist in a relationship, and you didn't realize at first, because at first there's just love bombing, and they're compassionate and loving and they're charming or whatever, and then all of a sudden there's a devaluation phase, right? So there are these things that happen to us, and the thing is, there is a whole phase with a narcissistic relationship of devaluation, where someone, he or she just knows how to devalue a human being because they don't value who they are on the inside. That's usually what's happening when we are being devalued by somebody, either a bully, whether it was a bully at school, whether it was many bullies at school, whether it was a bully at home, whether it was a bully in the workplace, whether it was a bully from somebody you didn't even know, but they wanted your partner. I could tell you a bit about that. Just low value, jealous people who don't know how to love themselves and project onto you, because you either have something that they want, and it just doesn't really matter. The world will show up. We can be cheated on. You can be in a marriage and get cheated on. So many things can happen that the world might try to devalue you, right? And we can actually sometimes take some of that on. And then what I see in my sessions with people one-on-one, all right, is the way you're behaving and the behaviors that you're doing and the way that you're acting, especially towards yourself, shows me that you have been devalued or that you do not value yourself. All right. So it's in your behaviors and your words and your thoughts, in how I hear what you're doing, that I can tell there's a self-worth problem here. I can see it in the first session. It's really very clear to me in the very first session what we're dealing with here in terms of self-worth and where somebody's at. And I'm not to say that I'm judging and it's like, oh my gosh, your self-worth is absolutely at zero. It's just, it gives me the opportunity to help co-create this person's best self-worth with them, okay? So for me, I'm highly sensitive, and I'm able to, through that capacity of being a highly sensitive person, know right away. I'll know right away something, like within the first hour, I can sense what other people can't sense, okay? There's a low self-worth thing happening here that's going to be part and parcel of what we're going to be building for this person's health and their nutrition and their best ultimate health ever and their energy and all of that kind of stuff. And so you may not know that that's happening, but I've logged in as a part of our goal here is to bolster and boost and fiercely unleash this person's incredible inner self-worth, all right? And I see this equally with men and women. This is not a woman's problem. This is not a man's problem. It's equally with men and women. And so this is not a gender issue. This is not a financial issue. You would think that somebody maybe who has a lower income has lower self-worth. Absolutely not. Your worth is never determined. And that's, I see this. And at first it surprised me. And now it surprises me no more because I have the key to find out what actually creates real, solid inner self worth and what does not. All right. Number one does not. Let's start there. Okay. And I've had all of these examples in my one-on-one sessions. All right. So this is from real experience. And yeah, so one, your self-worth does not come from the family that you're born into. 100% no. I have had, those like, oh, old Bermuda families, or, I'm not from Bermuda. That's what they say here. It's this old Bermuda family, established family, wealthy family, legacy family. Absolutely not in terms of self-worth. That does not like magically create high self-worth people in any way whatsoever. Okay. No, that's not it. So I'm just being really strong about that because I think there's a lot of misconception about, well, of course that they're going to be confident or whatever. They come from that legacy family. And no, totally no. Low self-worth. I find especially amongst men in those families, it's not a problem with it's not the foundation. It's not what family you're from. So you can throw that idea away. It's not how much money you have. I get a lot of super high earners, C-suites, and I can tell really quickly, all right, we're dealing with low self-worth here. A lot of time that shows up in the workplace. Oh, I have to plug in. Sorry, I forgot to do that. I got really excited about what I'm talking about today. There we go. Okay. So there we go. So yeah. So your so it doesn't come from how much money you're earning or whether or not you're a C-suite. You can be high self-worth. You can have a very high self-worth if you are in a C-suite, but it's not because you're a C-suite executive. It's not because you've earned your way to the top of the career ladder in the industry that you're in. It's not that. Totally not that. It's not how many likes somebody gets on Facebook or Instagram, because I see people in my social and personal life who get like way more likes, and I get like 3 likes on Instagram. I have a booming business. I'm doing great. But I just get very few likes. I don't know if and I can't figure it out, and it doesn't trouble me. It doesn't shift me. I don't think that, oh my gosh, nobody likes me. I have clients that adore me. It's not. So I've seen people who get all those like 100 likes, 200 likes, 300 likes, and then they come to me in session and I can tell there's really low self-worth here. We're dealing with a very low self-worth individual who just gets a lot of likes on Facebook and Instagram. So, and the scary thing with being low self-worth or having a low self-worth is that when you are on social media and you don't get that feedback from people, it really affects you even more. So I'm kind of unshakable. Like I can get 0 likes for the rest of my life and just know that I am still, very high worth, very high value. It doesn't faze me. And I'm really proud of that because I know that there's a lot of suicides that happen because of social media. And I know that there's a lot of people who are deeply affected in their soul. And I'm a highly sensitive person, and it's just not what's going to determine my worth at all. So it's not how many likes somebody gets. So if somebody gets a lot of likes, so they've got 100,000 followers, doesn't mean that they're high self-worth. It doesn't, guys. All right. Other things, how skinny you are, how beautiful you are. If that were true, then people with underweight eating disorders like anorexia or bulimia would be the most high self-worth people out there, but they're not. All right. It's nothing to do with how skinny you are, or how trim you are, or for men, how buff you are. No. So it's none of those things. It's not the family you're from, how much money you make. Oh, professional success. Right. So, a lot of women especially are very proud of the professional success that they have achieved, as they should be. But then they make decisions that I see are very low self-worth decisions. Okay. So it's definitely not how professionally successful you are, how many degrees you have, if you have a PhD, if you've, traveled the world and gotten promoted year after year. You may be excellent at your job, and perhaps that's where a aspect of your high self-worth comes out. But in other areas of your life, if you're totally acting low self-worth and low value, that's there. That's really there. That really shows up, and it's probably going to come back to bite you. And it really means that you haven't fully done that journey. So your worth is your responsibility, and we have to build our self-worth. As men, as women, as humans, we have to build our own worth. People, bullies, the world, Instagram is going to come and make you feel like you're not good enough, like you're not beautiful enough, like you're not rich enough, like you're not smart enough, like it's always going to be out there that something or someone can come and devalue you. So we want a rock solid self-worth, inner self-worth that's deep within, that self-worth that's unshakable. Do you know how you get that? You have to build it. You have to build it. It doesn't show up, and if you think you have it, or but you're not too sure, you have to build it some more. Because I definitely thought that I had a very strong sense of self-worth, and then now that I look back on some decisions that I made and got myself into situations that I devalued me and devalued me and devalued me, no, I had to build my self-worth from pretty much scratch after a particular situation, and I've done it and I've succeeded. I'm really, really, really worked hard on that. And we need to build our own worth, and we have to know our worth is our responsibility. So should someone come around and try to devalue me now, good luck. Good freaking luck. And I mean that not as like a hard shell, oh, now I've got this stuff. Not at all. It's just been a journey, and one that I am able to now teach from. So self-worth doesn't come from how beautiful and skinny and professionally smart and what family you come from and how much money you have and how much likes you get on Facebook and Instagram. Where does self-worth come from? Right? So you might wonder. I'll tell you, and it's going to be surprising. Self-worth comes from honoring ourselves. It comes from honoring ourselves. It comes from showing up for ourselves. It comes from prioritizing ourselves and our needs. That's what it comes from. So you can be earning, a low salary, or your business isn't earning a lot of money, but you can still have a very high sense of worth because you treat yourself well. You make decisions that are good decisions for you. You can come from a family that isn't rich or that isn't a legacy family, and you can still have a very strong sense of self-worth. Like, I come from a family who were refugees, and I was born in a refugee guest house, and it doesn't make me feel any which way around a legacy Bermuda family, or a partner of a law firm, or a reinsurance CEO. I don't feel any which way less of the self-worth. It just, and I wish that for everybody. I wish that for everybody, because having a solid sense of self-worth changes your life. It changes all of the decisions that you make, from romantic decisions to family decisions to whether or not you're going to keep certain people around you in your life anymore, people who continue to devalue you, or they think it's okay to say this or that, or to poke this or that. I definitely have clients in these situations. You make different decisions from a position of high self-worth. And it's okay if a whole bunch of people have to go from your life when you realize that, this is devaluing me. And I deserve to be in circles and situations and environments where I feel valued, respected, and treated like super well, So we have to treat ourselves well to get treated super well. And treating ourselves well means that we don't engage in food and nutrition and drinking habits that show that we don't care about ourselves. Okay? Being high value and valuing yourself and having a high sense of self-worth means that you do the work with a therapist or with a coach to unpack and untangle the messes so that you're not hitting the bar or hitting the food or the desserts or whatever it is that you might use to eat for other reasons than actually meeting your physiological needs and for energy. It's the decisions that we make show other people how much we value ourselves. If we say no to a certain evening out because we need to be up early in the morning and we want to feel amazing for our beautiful day, and we hold that boundary, certain lower value people will say things like, oh, come on, you're no fun anymore, or this or that, or if you're in situations where you choose not to drink on that evening, lower value people will probably peer pressure and bully you into like, oh, come on, you gotta have a drink or whatever, right? So we show people how we treat ourselves. If I feel like a drink, I will have a drink, right? If I don't feel like it, you're not gonna convince me, right? So not in that kind of way, right? We don't have to create a drama, but whether or not they like it, whether or not they say it or not, they notice she or he treats themselves well. Why did I drink? They might even think, why was I pushing them around? What's a big deal why did I drink so much? They might think that later, right? How we treat ourselves when we are, for instance, on a date with our husband or with our new person we just met shows them if we are high value or low value. And the only way that we determine that is because of how we treat ourselves and how we respond, how you react, how you respond, what your behavior is, what your actions are. Because your actions and your reactions and your words and your behaviors show to the world how you value yourself. And that's the only way that someone can tell if you have a high self-worth or a low self-worth. So in sessions with me, I often get a lot of lower self-worth situations, and I don't go out and say it, but it's one of those things where I know we're building on this person's worth, and you better believe it happens. Because let me tell you, in a way, you can fake it till you make it just by treating your body right, honoring yourself, like making the healthiest decisions for your physiology, like fueling your body Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and Saturday, right? And then incorporating some exercise, and now my body's getting movement too. And then all of a sudden, 4 months, 6 months later, you're like, I'm pretty athletic, I'm eating all this healthy food and I feel really good and my energy is amazing. And, and I've just, the way I've been showing up for myself for the past few months, that I call it your quarterly bonus when you work with me. By having someone like myself co-create your healthiest future with you. Okay, your best nutrition, that weight loss that you're dying to have, it's life enhancing weight loss, the, reversal of, a situation that you have with your blood work, whatever it is, we're working together to co-create this best future for you. For you. You show up to sessions for you. And when you have a health coach and you've got and I'm working with you on your nutrition and you're showing up with healthy food for your body, you're not slamming back a ton of booze on the weekend, right? Like, you're getting good sleep all of a sudden. You're starting to take care that you're exercising. You're starting to get a bit of sunshine at the appropriate times to make sure this and that. You're getting vitamins into your body. So that's what I mean by fake it till you make it. After a quarter of a year, your self-worth has gone up 25%. Next quarter, 50% from where you started, which was usually not treating your body very well, okay? Or at least as good as it deserves. Because we all deserve, I always say this, vibrant health is our birthright. We all deserve this incredible health, this beautiful, incredible health, right? Like, it's our birthright. We deserve this. And in order to get it, you have to show up for you, whether you're a parent or a spouse or you're in an abusive relationship or just come out of an abusive relationship or you were bullied as a child or your family's constantly bothering you about your weight, or you were always the fat one. I'm not saying that that's what my clients will say. If no matter what you come to me with, no matter what, you build your worth. You build your worth every single week that we work together. It's going upwards, because if it's not going upwards, I'm not doing my job, right? And that is to sneakily build your self-worth with you, co-creating it. And I've been working so hard figuring out, how does one build self-worth? And I realized this is it. It's kind of something that, like it's a bonus. It's a bonus that happens when you start treating yourself well. When you start treating yourself well, and that means, especially for a lot of my male clients, you're not a slave to your job. Like, you're not pushing your body to the point of like cardiovascular disease and non-alcoholic fatty liver, and you don't have a family who loves you or anyone who really cares anymore, because you've just given up on you, and all you do is drive yourself at this job. Okay, as much as that sounds like the macho thing to do, it actually shows incredible low self-worth, that you don't value what you're putting into your own body, your one and only body, that only you puts food in your mouth, right? So you're showing you don't care about your body, you don't care about your sleep, you don't care whether or not you get any exercise. You're basically saying, yeah, hand me the chronic diseases, I'm ready. I clearly am heading in this direction, right? So you have to show up, men, especially you men, for this one. But also women, because I've had so let's start with the men. Slaves to your job, workaholism, okay? There's the excellence that you bring to your work, and then there's excellence that you bring to yourself. And do you know what comes first? Yourself. And the more that you take care of yourself, and the more that we like work together in a like program like the Energized Executive, and you really learn to rewire your brain so that you know that your body and your physiology comes first, because you know what's going to not happen anymore when you get sick is your job is not going to happen anymore when you get sick. So and I'm a living, breathing example that you can take excellent care of yourself and work in a high-powered, high-paced, high-stress environment and still put yourself first. It's not selfish. They always say it's not selfish if it's self-care, right? So, and I see men do this. I really do. And I saw it in myself in the past before. I've been there too. And that's also a way that I could detect I didn't have very high self-worth, because I wanted X, Y, and Z more than I wanted myself to be healthy. And I had to have a heart problem stop me dead in my tracks to make me realize what life is actually about. Okay, what is life actually about? And what is meaningful? All right. And I still am high powered. I'm still very, very high, there's a lot of, there's all that excellence that I bring to my work, but also my health is excellent and my self-worth is incredible. Okay. And, yeah. And that's what you're going to want to look for. If you never hire me as a coach, or you don't ever sign up to the Energized Executive or any other program that I put on, if you pick somebody else, maybe that they cost less or something, make sure that you're working with somebody who has high self-worth, because there's a lot of people in my industry with low self-worth. All right. I gotta, I can't, obviously, it's not going to be a name situation, but look at this situation. Does this person have genuine, authentic self-worth? Do they value themselves? Look out for the behaviors, the actions, the way that they speak, the way that they are able, because your coach can only get you as far as they've gone. They can't take you further than they've been themselves, right? So a coach can take you where they've been. All right. So if you want to build self-worth and go on that journey, then I would be the great choice for you. It would be working with somebody who knows how to build another person's self-worth, because she has built her own. Okay. And yeah. I'd say some things to look out for also are plastic surgeries. They do not build self-worth. I often feel that if you're working with somebody who's had extensive or some very significant plastic surgeries, I would say that that may be an indicator that perhaps their self-worth, at least at that point, wasn't the strongest. I have no plastic surgeries. I don't do Botox. I will never do Botox. I will never alter my face or body, or get a bum implant, and I believe that all of those physical things can never bring you the worth that you want. It can never show the world that you are worthy, or that you have an incredible sense of inner self-worth, like real self-worth, the one that's, so legit and so inside and so unshakable. Um, I really feel that one has to, yeah, build their worth from the inside out and not by changing how they look on the outside. And that's my own personal opinion. And, I do feel that, yeah, that's an important thing. So all of that to say, it's a beautiful journey, and I love working with people. And I'm so excited for the Energized Executive because it takes us over a quarter of a year. And so you can, look forward to having that self-worth being built up higher, 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 higher. And how is that going to show up? Because the more self-worth that we have, the better we show up for our bodies. We show up to feed ourselves on time. So many times I get women, this is more the women thing, as I didn't have time to eat, the kids, the spouse, the boss, it was like, oh my gosh, the boss needed this and I didn't get lunch for like the 5th day in a row, no lunch. So yeah, when we have a high sense of self-worth, we create solid boundaries, we act with integrity, we don't make promises that we don't keep. There's a whole different behavior pattern and a whole different way of approaching the world and showing the respect you have for yourself. Because if you don't respect you, who's going to respect you? Who? Who's going to respect you? You don't respect yourself. And again, this we can build ourselves. It is not handed down somehow genetically to royal family members, or those legacy families, or somebody whose dad is like a high-powered CEO of like a big reinsurance company. It doesn't work like that. We build our own self-worth, and I'd be more than happy to help you on that journey, co-creating your highest, strongest, most unshakable, solid self-worth that you've ever had. And yeah, absolutely. So it shows up so much in our nutrition. It shows up so much in our nutrition and our health. So it's just something I really encourage, because wouldn't it be something to start on that journey and to achieve it faster than you even thought possible, and start behaving and acting and showing yourself and showing the world just what your worth is on this planet? And how you do that is by taking care and honoring your body, honoring your thoughts, honoring who you are, honoring yourself, honoring your meal times, honoring exercise, honoring boundaries, honoring that you don't have a community full of people who are haters, or they don't like you, or they, treat you bad at family barbecues, honoring that you clean that out of your life, honoring that you distance yourself from situations that are really devaluing you, honoring that you're working with someone that is helping you. If you're stuck in a situation with like a workplace bully, I've been there, that you're working with someone to unpack that. So because you can't always can't fire somebody, right? I mean, if you're not in that position to fire somebody, who should be probably fired, like a workplace bully is a terrible thing. Was that book Snakes in Suits or something like that? Anyways, people who just don't have the best vibration, they don't mean the best for the world, and their frequency is awful. So we can't always remove that person from our situations, but we can do everything in our power to keep our worth high if we have to be in that sort of a frontline situation with somebody who wants to devalue us. And yeah, it'll change your life. It'll change how you approach everything. Absolutely everything. And it is definitely, there's only one you, and someday you're just going to have to look in the mirror and decide to love, respect, honor, and value yourself. And, you know, it can be hard when you have children because you always want to put their needs first. It can be hard when you've got sick parents because you want to put their needs first. But, and this is not selfish in any way. We can always be helpful, and we can always have integrity and love and all of that for others. But there's just a different way that we treat ourselves. And quite frankly, the self-love, self-respect, and self-worth that you develop with somebody like me, and as I co-create that with you, if you would like some help with it, yeah, it will change your life. It will change. It will change your life, and it will almost guarantee that everything that you do in terms of nutrition, what you learn, is going to be sustainable and lifelong. This has been a really long video. Sustainable and lifelong, because you develop the tools on how to build, keep, and maintain a high self-worth, because you never know what's around the corner, right? And you have to face those new challenges without letting it shake your own worth. All right. Yeah. So it's huge. It's really huge, guys. It's really, really huge. So this has been a really special talk, and I've loved doing this live, and I hope that you enjoy it as well, and hope it gives you some food for thought. And if this is something that is a part of your journey, just know that that's what it is. It's a journey. It's not like Agatha was given self-worth and it's super high and just glows within her, and, you know, like, that it wasn't something that I built from scratch. Yeah. So you can build it from scratch wherever you are. I would love to work with you. And this will be a huge game changer in your life, nutrition, and health. All right. So if you want to speak to me, just DM me, send a message to Fueled, or to my personal Facebook, or just send me a WhatsApp or an email. All right, fantastic. I'm the only one who checks the Fueled messages. Just that's one piece that I only check. So just let you know. All right, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys soon in the next live video. Enjoy your Saturday, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Hey, you made it to the end of the video. I have a lot more that you're going to enjoy, so be sure to click to the next one. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell notification to make sure you always know what's happening. Again, this is Agatha for Fueled, and I'll see you in the next video.